What's up, everybody? Season 3, Episode 2 starts now. We thank you for listening and hope you enjoy.
USC's decision in naming Shane Beamer the new head coach for USC football. I personally love this decision. He was under Spurrier when we were at the top, and I feel like he knows what a good USC team looks like. And I've been reading up on him. He looks dedicated and pays attention to detail. So I like this pick personally. So what do y'all think?
I personally like it for the sole fact of this is kind of like, I think this might be one of the youngest USC coaches, or one of the youngest coaches that USC ever had, if I'm not mistaken. So just having somebody with that young mindset to come in and actually like bring a whole new perspective to the football team and to the program itself. So I like it. I think it's different, but I like it nonetheless.
I like the hire. This is my pick from the jump once Muschamp got fired. This is the guy I wanted for this program just for the sole reason that he loves – it's not even just about football for him. It's about he loves South Carolina, which I think at this point in time in the program where we got a lot of divisiveness between former players, current Muschamp players, fans, all this stuff going on. You need, I think, right now to run your show, a guy that can instantly bring in a symbol of like unity in terms of fans, players, and how to get this thing back rolling. And also, like you said, Michaela, about him being on the Spurrier and was at the top. Like, this is the guy that when Alshon Jeffrey is on signing day on the fence of signing with Tennessee and Lane Kiffin, Shane Beamer stayed on the phone with him for 3 hours and basically made Lane Kiffin's call be null and just wouldn't allow it to happen. So he knows how to recruit in-state, get guys excited about playing for this university, and I think he's the best fit right now for where the state of this university is in terms of all the divisiveness and everything. So he's the guy.
From a Clemson fans' point of view, I like it. They brought in a coach that, like you said, was under Spurrier when they were winning. I like that. He comes from Lincoln Riley's system out in Oklahoma, winning. He also has worked with really good quarterbacks out in Oklahoma. So he will eventually be able to get a quarterback that will do good for South Carolina. So from that stance, I like it. But I just hope that he does good at Carolina and hopes he turns it around to a winning program.
Did you say from Carolina? Wait, did you say from Clemson's perspective?
From a Clemson standpoint, that's what I hope. I hope he turns it all around, turns it to a winning program.
Oh, okay.
I do. I really do. I like to see good games, man. I don't like to see anybody struggle.
Good shots fired. Like
He did, but it's cool though. It's cool.
Your perspective from Clemson, Hunter. We've also heard that you believe that Clemson will take the whole championship.
I believe they have the best team to do it, yes. Everybody talks about the Notre Dame game, and for the Notre Dame game, for me, it was a great game, went to overtime. It was very stressful, obviously, from a Clemson fan point of view. But for me, this is what stands out to me. Jamie Skowski, starting middle linebacker, has played 3 years at Clemson, started 2 of them. He's Jake Venables calls him our quarterback of our defense. He was out for that game. We also had Tyler Davis, starting defensive tackle, out. We also had another linebacker, Mike Jones, out. We had 2 young wide receivers, Michael Latson and Kevin Agata, play in that game. We also, of course, don't have Justin Ross this year. We obviously did not have Trevor Lawrence. Then there's one, two, three, four, five, 6 other defensive players that were out for that game for Clemson. May not be starters, may be rotation players, whatever. It is what it is. But so you take pretty much depleting half of our defense with a backup quarterback and shutting down Travis Etienne and not being able to run the ball. That made it tough. But Clemson goes up 7 late in that game in the fourth quarter. On the drive where Notre Dame scored a touchdown, on a second down play, Notre Dame has the ball. Brian Brees, number 1 overall recruit in the nation, defensive end, goes down. Comes back in 2 plays later. He plays 1 play. He goes back down. He's out for the rest of the series. This is the game-winning drive. So one of your top best defensive players is now sidelined. Then later on in that drive, Nolan Turner, our starting safety, gets hurt. What did Notre Dame score off of? They ran a post over the middle, right past the backup safety for the touchdown to send the game to overtime. Notre Dame does not stand a chance against a fully healthy team. All of the guys I just listed are back playing and are back in the system and have been practicing and will play next Saturday against Notre Dame.
You know what, Hunter? That's very in-depth what you just said, man. But them going up against Alabama?
Oh, well, see.
I think Ohio State might be better than Clemson, too.
Thank you.
I don't know about that one. I don't know
That's
about
different.
that one.
But you
Ohio
have
State
to
should have
look
beat
at
them last year.
Alabama's schedule. A trash LSU team, Ole Miss who throws the ball 600 yards against everybody else, and did really well against Alabama for 3 quarters.
Yeah.
So you have to look at their schedule. Yes, they played Auburn. Bo Nix is garbage. There's not many options that Bama has played. Yes, Clemson hasn't played great teams other than Notre Dame, but at least we played a playoff team. They played middle school kids.
Whoa.
They played A&M, and they beat A&M.
They
played
beat A&M. They put 52 up on A&M.
Yes, but Kellen Mond is not a quarterback.
Kellen Mond's number 5.
He's not what?
Florida.
Kellen Mond's not a quarterback. Kellen Mond leads A&M in quarterback and school history and quarterback stats. At this point, he has the most passing touchdowns. He has the most passing yards. He has the most everything in A&M school history.
4 years out of school. I hope you would have the most touchdowns.
Christian, you look like you're thinking hard. What do you think? You're over here. I feel like your wheels are turning. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm listening. I just don't have that much to talk about with this college with those.
I mean, Hunter. So we talk about Clemson, and you're saying how they're going to, I guess, run over Notre Dame in the ACC title game, which I don't disagree with you with. I think they will too. But talking about overall playoff picture, Alabama, since the Ole Miss game where they gave up 48 points, and since the first half of the Georgia game where they gave up 24 points, has not given up over 20 points over the last 4 games on defense. Now, mind you, their quarterback's playing out of their mind. Devontae Smith is the best receiver in the
Insane.
NCAA.
Insane.
And there's a very strong possibility that Jalen Waddle will be returning for the college football playoff. I don't know about you. Oh, did I forget Najee Harris? Najee Harris is a pretty darn good running back. So I don't care who Clemson got on the field. They ain't stopping them 3 boys.
But all of the people
defense,
that you just listed, you have to look at the other teams that are in that playoff connection. You have Kellen Mond and his offense that beat Florida. But the only reason I feel like they beat Florida, that was Florida's first game of the season where they played in with fans. And I watched that game. Kyle Trask and them had the ball on the game-winning drive to go down the field and score, and had 3 false start penalties on that drive because of fans. In my opinion, that's what I say. So I think Kyle Trask would have had a chance to win that game.
You got to be used to that. They play in the SEC.
True.
I can't be like fans and then cry.
That's just my opinion on that. But then you also have, the weapons that Kyle Trask has, Kyle Pitts, Trotter, and all of those guys out there. They're insanely talented and super fast, and their defense is relatively decent. Not Alabama or Clemson caliber, and apparently Notre Dame's caliber defense, but all the top 6 teams right now all have a great shot. And the 3 SEC teams I feel like have the best shot, because if Notre Dame loses to Clemson, yes, they have the win over Clemson. But if Florida keeps it close against Alabama, it's going to be hard to keep any of them out of it. But you also have Ohio State. But I don't think we've seen enough of Ohio State this year.
So
mean,
you
I
still
don't
got
know.
Clemson winning it all. I'm just trying to make sure I understand this. You got Clemson winning the national
Well, if
championship.
Clemson beats Notre Dame, they'll be the number 2 team, which means we play the number 3 team, which would be Ohio State, and we don't lose to Ohio State. Which means we would play Bama or Notre Dame in the national championship game. That's my opinion. And I don't see Notre Dame beating Alabama.
But you got Clemson. I just want to make sure I get this right.
Yes. Clemson's defense, once again, that game will always be close. We've seen the past 3 national championships, other than the 44-16 magical year. But it'll be another good game. It'll be another classic again this year.
Matt, get on your boy. Matt.
What's up?
Your boy said
Oh,
Clemson
God, not Matt.
is going to take Alabama in the national championship.
How? Explain. Oh, I guess we probably shouldn't explain. You probably just did. Just give me a small little tidbit. Why you think so?
Defense.
Trevor Lawrence.
Championships.
Have you seen Bama's defense? I'm trying to figure out, are we going to just exclude Alabama's defense, right?
So are we going to say Ole Miss's quarterback's Trevor Lawrence, who threw for 400-something yards that game?
Ole Miss, okay. Do you know Lane Kiffin is a darn good play caller. He's an offensive genius. I think Lane Kiffin in game 3 of game 2, whatever it was, of a pandemic year, can get 50 can run off 40 on Bama. And with all this going on, I think Lane Kiffin can do that. But back to Clemson out here in week 7, struggling with Virginia Tech at halftime.
Yeah.
What was up with that?
They should have lost to BC.
BC had put up 28 points. Great defense, but they put up 28 points. All I'm saying is Clemson got no more impressive wins than what you're saying Bama might not have, and Bama still beat more ranked teams and have been more dominant. Has looked way more dominant over the past couple of weeks than Clemson has.
Look at the way that other colleges use their star players, though. Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, Matt Jones, Devontae Smith, Najee Harris, all of those guys. Alabama can be beating a team 40-6. For some reason, they're still in the game. Clemson gets up 3 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne are on the bench, and they're just hanging out.
But I will say, whenever Clemson plays,
not when they play Carolina,
competition, like when they play Alabama's or the Ohio States, it won't be like Wake Forest or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, most of the time they can go chill out on the bench because they're playing at best North Carolina, who can't beat Florida State. Yeah. But whenever you get to like playing these top teams in the playoff and stuff, it's like you're not gonna get to do that. I think. Do you agree that Alabama is the most dominant team in the playoff? Well, that will be in the playoff.
Yes, I agree that they have the most weapons on both sides of the ball. But back to what Sterling was saying. Sterling said that he was talking about Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin's offense 2 games into a pandemic, putting up 40 points on Alabama, and how great of a play caller Lane Kiffin is. I love Lane Kiffin. He's a great coach. But we're forgetting about what I said just a second ago. Defense wins championships. Brett Venables will have an answer. He always does.
So what happened for Joey Burrow last year?
I'm going to give it to you. The Clemson, I like their defensive backs a lot.
I
don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what Clemson be able to knock down Notre Dame.
They'll beat the mess out of Notre Dame the second.
You'll have to go back and listen to this.
I don't think they'll beat the mess out of them. I really don't. I think Notre Dame's coming this game with a lot of confidence. I think if Clemson wins, it's by no more than 14 points. That's my prediction. Is that game this weekend or is that next weekend?
Next weekend.
This weekend. Okay, got you.
I'm looking ACC went ahead and canceled games.
I'm going to have this in the archives just in case.
Please do.
This Bama disrespect got to stop. Why are y'all forgetting about A&M?
Yeah, A&M. It just sucks for them. What A&M would need Florida.
They're sitting at 5.
Yeah.
They're sitting at 5.
Yeah.
If Notre Dame gets the crap beat out of them, they're going to be at 4. Like, now, or 3, depending on how Ohio State plays in the Big Ten Championship and how the committee might want to do matchmaking and say, well, since, we've already seen A&M versus Bama, let's wait to see if we can have that one again and end up A&M at 3. Just because A&M's been pretty dominant over the last couple of weeks themselves. It's just they lost to the best team in the nation.
Yeah.
So what do we do about a 5-win Ohio or 6-win Ohio State team with a title beating Northwestern and
you watch
I'm sorry, y'all gonna beat Northwestern. Y'all gonna beat Northwestern in the Big Ten championship. Nobody's watching that game. I mean, they might as well have y'all play Indiana again to make more of a matchup to see if Indiana's that good or if y'all was just that bad that day. You know, one of the two. But I feel like A&M's gonna have something to say about this. They've been sitting at 5 for 3 weeks.
I'm just worried about Ohio State's, like we're just talking about like the Clemson secondary. I'm worried about Ohio State secondary because we've been trying to get this thing together all season. It just hasn't been. We lost a lot of guys last year. Hunter, so you think Clemson's a better football team right now than Ohio State?
I don't have enough of a resume for Ohio State.
Okay.
In my opinion, if I was on the committee, I would be that one person in the back of the room that would say that. You have enough film on Justin Fields to know he's a good player. You have enough film on anybody that's been there for the last couple years to go, okay, he's good. Sean Wade, cornerback from Ohio State, he's good. You got enough to say that they're good players, but are they a better team or whatever? It's hard to say because, you know, the struggle of the day against Indiana when Fields threw 3 interceptions, that was tough.
Yeah, hey, Penix was the truth before he got taken out.
Yes, he was also a monster. But that game came down to defense because both teams had, I think, 2 pick sixes. Like it was weird. It was a weird defensive game.
Yeah. So we're gonna see. I'm rolling with the Buckeyes. We don't care if they're right or they're wrong. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, we're gonna transition to my favorite topic, the NBA. So we're going to talk about James Harden. So he's been looking to get traded right now. He's looking at the 76ers, the Bucks, the Heats, and the Net. Right now, I want to know what you guys think is his best predicament for where he's going to go, but not just where he's going to go, but where you think he will excel best at. So what are y'all thoughts?
Let me go ahead and go. I'm not going to really answer your question. I'm going to be like a politician and go all the way around it. I really do not want them to trade him. Like, I do not want to get into this thing where the superstar – like, I want athletes to have all the power and stuff. But, like, goodness gracious, bro, like, you can't just force your way out of it. So I hope they keep him there. If he don't want to play, just have him on the bench or whatever during the games. But I hope they don't trade him.
On the bench, that's a good
shit.
If you don't want to play, like if you don't want to play, you go just come sit courtside. You sit right beside me.
From like basketball standpoint, yeah, that's what you was taught. Like if you was, acting up in school or whatever, yeah, you ain't playing that game. But this is the pros. I don't see like at the end of the day, you still paying this man. So it's like I can't just bench the man. Like he still got to get some kind of playing time.
I'm saying if he wants to play. But if he wants to sit because he wants to be traded, like let him sit. I'm just saying don't trade him And if you trade him, don't trade him where he wants to go. Do not trade him because you're losing.
Weird parenting skills.
You do not trade him where he wants to go. You be like, all right, we're gonna send you someplace. Kind of like how did Kyrie want to go to Boston? Was that on his list of teams?
No, it just kind of happened.
It didn't. Okay.
No,
that's what I want. That's the exact same thing. That's what I was saying.
So you want him to be unhappy. You want him to either stay with you, like stay with his team, or just be unhappy.
He has 2 more years on his contract. I need you to fulfill that contract. And what ends up happening is it's like, well, whenever these dudes say they don't want to play no more, they don't play no more. And they go unless you send them where they want to go. Like, no. Let's slow this thing down. You're either going to play here for these 2 years. I'm paying you the money. Or we're going to send you, let's say you want to go to New York, we're going to send you to Washington. That's what we're going to do.
Well, here's the thing about NBA. He can sit out this year, and it won't be a penalty. It won't be a penalty to his It won't be a penalty to his contract. Like he can sit out this whole year. Just say he just doesn't show up, and he could get like a little dot. But if he comes back next year and plays, he'll get his full guaranteed money on his contract because it's not like NFL where you get hit with a fine every week if you don't play.
And then the thing is, because the other teams know that he wants to go, the other teams aren't really going to be trying to spend as much money on him because it's like we know he don't want to be there. You know what I'm saying? I think you get into a dangerous narrative wherever guys aren't finishing their contract anymore because they don't want to anymore. You send them exactly where they're trying to get to.
That's a good point. And I think so this is how I'm going to break it down. I'm going to give all the 4 teams of just like percentages of how well he could possibly play and just like overall should he go there. Okay. So the 76ers, I'm all for it. Go play with, Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons because at the end of the day, if he's getting traded there, Houston is going to want for something back. So it's going to be one of those two that are going to get traded. So I think him going to 76ers is a good pickup. Him going to Brooklyn, Sterling and I were talking about this in the Twitter group chat. By the way, shout out. Y'all want to get in it, just follow us. It gets real. Anyway, I personally don't think it'll work. I disagree. Nonetheless, you got too many – I don't know. You got too many egos on that team for me to actually believe it's going to work. Now, granted, we professionals. They can make it happen. Nonetheless, just outside looking in, I just don't see that working. Him going to Miami – I don't know where that came from, so I'm gonna just put that one in the back of the truck. Him going to the Bucks, I think that was just a pity pick. That was just okay. Look, if I can't go to these two, at least let me go to the Bucks. At least it's just from a basketball standpoint. I just really just have to see that happen. I said when it first happened that it may not have worked, but actually like analyzing James Harden and Giannis, those are very two ball dominant players. Normally, other than the one instance where, they could have beaten the Warriors with him and Chris Paul, normally when you have two ball-dominant players, normally it doesn't work. But that's not to say that it can't happen. But my personal favorite is going back to Matt's point, is if he stays, thug it out with John Wall and Boogie Cousins. Or if he does get traded, go to the Sixers. So those are my two picks.
I say go to the Heat.
I don't think Brooklyn will work at all. Kyrie, KD, it's too many ball-dominant players. With James Harden going to sit in the corner and wait for threes. I definitely agree that Philly is the best landing spot for him. I think Houston has to move him, but when you move him, you got to get similar value or at least equal value. I think Philly has the pieces to give him equal value. With, like you said, get either Joel or Ben Simmons. I think you got to move Ben Simmons if you're trying to get James Harden. I think a lot of people forget who James Harden is. James Harden is a 30-point-per-game scorer in the sweep. Definitely going to make the playoffs with James Harden. Definitely going to be in contention in the East with James Harden, Joel. And so I just think Philly is a better landing spot for him, and Houston should just be smart and get rid of him, cut their losses. He's not coming to practice. He's not coming.
I ain't practicing today, coach.
That man going to strip clubs.
Hey, y'all think Ben Simmons fits in Houston?
I know he said Ben Simmons. I said but if they were smart, I probably wouldn't.
Ben Simmons is 24 years old. What in the world would Philadelphia make that deal?
I wouldn't give him
because he does not have a jump shot.
He is still a top 15 player.
What they say. That's what they say.
You're welcome, Chris. I said it.
Without a bunch shot, Ben Simmons is still a top 15 player in the league. Can impact the basketball on both ends of the floor tremendously in terms of he's an all defensive type guy on defense. On offense, he creates nothing but open opportunities for his teammates.
Well, and cannot score in the playoffs.
Fantastic.
I do not see why. That's why they went and got him some help. I don't see why in the world Philly would make that trade. But I mean, would it make sense for James? We'll see, depending on who they do end up trading. But I don't think it makes sense to trade.
You wouldn't trade Ben Simmons for James Harden straight up?
Right now?
Right now.
No. You know why? Because
that's so tough.
Ben Simmons is 24 years old. James Harden is 31, in the next couple years be 33, 34. If I'm thinking I just signed Ben Simmons to a 5-year contract, he's going to keep developing. We just finally made the team around him and Embiid again to have shooters surrounding them. They should be really good this year. Now, back to you, Chris, with this James Harden, and you, Jalen, with this he can't work in Brooklyn. Why can't he work in Brooklyn?
Okay.
Why can't he work in Brooklyn?
I have a good reason for that.
Have y'all watched USA basketball ever play?
This is not USA basketball. This is not USA basketball.
We don't look at the USA.
He's going against LeBron and the Lakers.
We don't look at the USA basketball team ever say, "Oh my God, there's too many superstars on that team for them to do anything." All right, USA basketball does this every 4 years, right? Now, if you put James Harden in Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD, I think it worked. One, Brooklyn has the best package for him anyway, and two, Kyrie's better off the ball. When Kyrie won the championship, he was off the ball with LeBron. KD don't need the ball to do anything really. KD can just lollygag around, get into a spot, and shoot a jump shot, and have 25 a night. All right. So and when we think about it, Mike D'Antoni, who Harden likes a lot, Steve Nash, one of the greatest offensive players in terms of setting up guys and getting them the spots they want to ever play. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah. And James Harden turned down $50 million. You're not turning down $50 million. You ain't willing to change something to get better and win a championship. So I think him with KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn could work and have the best package.
So this is the only problem that I have with it. Go ahead, Christian. Go ahead, man.
they would have to trade away their whole team.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's the best
First,
package though. Yeah,
but then there's AD, Kyrie, and James Harden. They're gonna have to trade away the rest of their team.
yeah. You got to send Dinwiddie, you got to send LeVert, you got to send a pick or two, and probably another player. But you can still probably have DeAndre Jordan. You could probably still have Jared Allen. That's your core. You can just fill out the bench from there. There's people in the league waiting to play.
So my thing is, if Houston wanted to do that, they would have been done that. Houston is looking like, hey, we're giving you James Harden, the James Harden. We want KD or Kyrie, hands down. I personally feel like if that was the case, they would have been made that happen. And they're not going to do that.
Eventually, they will have to, though, because right now they still have the leverage right now because James going to show up to camp. But after a certain period of time, when the questions keep coming, from reporters, when is James going to get traded? When's he going to get traded? At some point in time, as a GM in Houston, you're probably going to get to a point with your coach where you're just like, hey, let's go ahead and just trade them for what they're going to give us because we can't deal with these questions all year long. That's what's going to come down to. Like right now, Houston does have leverage. James will show up to camp. He will play with John Wall and Boogie. He might even like it. But since that's already out there that he's requested the trade, unless he rescinds that request and is like, no, I'm going to stay here in Houston, they're going to get asked that question every day, after every game, after every practice. And at some point, Houston got to pull the trigger and say, all right, just ship James up out of here. We'll take back Karis LeVert. We'll take back Spencer Dinwiddie. And that'll still be a good Houston Rockets team. But, like, that's going to happen at some point unless he rescinds it and actually is like, I like playing with John Wall and Boogie. Unless that happens, that's probably going to happen. Oh, and Christian Wood, of course. But, like,
do you believe that he will take back the trade, though?
It depends on what happens. Right now, he's clearly trying to get traded. I've never seen a man be so blatant about wanting to be traded than James Harden right now. He said, I'm going to post a picture at Lil Baby's party. All right.
In the strip club.
Bitch, I'm not wearing
They
that.
gave him a bag of honey buns. Seriously speaking. He actually
Brought me a proud bag because he's proud of me.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, goodness.
All right, boys, let's switch on over to our last topic, which I'm excited to hear y'all's opinions on. We are talking about our Super Bowl picks for 2021. Who do y'all think would be the two most dominant teams to go up for Super Bowl 2021? I've seen a lot about the Chiefs. I'm a Patrick Mahomes.
I want to hear y'all opinions. I want to hear y'all opinions.
What do y'all think?
Definitely the Chiefs come out the AFC. I'm trying to figure out this NFC. Sterling, who we think I know you still thinking the Seahawks?
I'm still picking the best QB in the league, and Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm still picking them to come out of the NFC. I said that. The best quarterback in the league, Russell
My head hurt. Jesus.
Wilson. Yes, I'm taking him.
So, this is how I see it. I see the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Hands down. Jalen, before you get into yours, I'm going to give you a little point. Y'all don't want to see the Chiefs at all. You want to see everybody but the Chiefs. So that's that. Now, the NFC, okay, Russell Wilson is great, Sterling. Don't get me wrong. He is great. But
best in the league.
The only thing that because I did say, I think it was like season 2, I said the Seahawks and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I did say that. But after watching just the rest of the season unfold, I don't know why I see it. I still see the Seahawks, but I see it literally as the Packers, then the Saints, then the Seahawks. It's going to be one of those 3 teams, and I've got it in that order. Like I said, Jalen, y'all just don't want to see the Chiefs. Y'all have the best shot. If y'all just miraculously don't see the Chiefs, then yes, y'all have a shot.
We would cut the Chiefs. We match up very well with the Chiefs. You gotta.
No, you don't.
What you gotta do to Pat Mahomes? How you stop Pat Mahomes? You gotta put pressure on him. We gonna put pressure on him. Every day.
Man, go ahead, Jalen.
But Dupree gone. And look, and we gonna roll with the punches like we've been doing all season. Honestly, the blatant disrespect on the Pittsburgh Steelers is crazy. We're 11-1. We're the number 1 seed in the AFC. Most likely, we're about to run through the rest of the season because we just lost our team we shouldn't have. Better win out, get the 1 seed, run through Heinz Field, and hopefully them boys come see us.
But here's the thing, Jalen. Here's the thing. If you bring more than, let's say, 5 or 6 to the line, you're depleting your secondary, which will leave Tyreek Hill open to run right past Minka Fitzpatrick and be wide open because nobody's catching him. Then guess what? If they don't, they'll go to Justin Robinson. They'll go to McCole Hartman. And then if you come underneath, And then if you go over the top, guess what? They're going to go to Travis Kelce, and they're going to run the ball with Le'Veon Bell, and they're going to run the ball with Carlos Edwards-Helaire. That is the dumbest argument.
Carlos?
Listen.
Edwards-Helaire, excuse me.
Listen. You can name all their weapons. We know all their weapons over and over. But I have the best defense in the NFL by far.
Oh, no, you don't.
I lead the NFL in turnovers, sacks, I lead the NFL in every defensive category.
I get that.
Look. The Chiefs, they're a great team. I can't wait to play them. But I think we match up way better with them than y'all think. Because a lot of y'all probably don't watch us.
Can I tell y'all why y'all will not beat the Kansas City Chiefs? Y'all don't have a running game. The teams that have a chance to beat the Kansas City Chiefs are the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, and even the Cleveland Browns, because they all have running games. They all
we beat all the teams you just named. We beat all the teams you just named except for the
y'all
Colts.
did, but I seen them a second time. Y'all ain't beating them because they all can take a lot of time off the clock running the football. Derrick Henry can take off about 7 to 8 minutes and keep catching Mahomes on the sideline.
And that
y'all
like to play. Nasty.
And yes, they are. And the Titans defense will show up in the playoffs. And the problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers, to me, which is why it'll be Seattle versus Super Bowl. I have Kansas City come out AFC. But the problem with Pittsburgh to me is y'all try to play pitch and catch too much. The problem is y'all lead the league in drops. So you can't keep Patrick Mahomes off. You can't keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. You keep giving it back to him. And the other thing is
we gotta fix that.
and the other problem
that's why we lost just now. We just lost because we can't catch the ball.
So if let's think about like last week, right? I'm the only person here to say Coastal gonna beat BYU, and it's the main reason why I said that is because they was gonna leave. They're gonna make sure that Zach Wilson did not touch that football field and take off time after time and end it with scores. That's what the teams that have a chance to beat the Chiefs will do. And that's what teams that can beat the Chiefs will do. Tennessee, the Colts, the Seahawks, if they play in the Super Bowl, the Seahawks have the same ability to run the ball and keep that guy off the field and finish with touchdowns because Russell Wilson's their quarterback. So when Chris Carson gets healthy, y'all will see what Seattle can actually do.
Is he Like he's kind of like he's not all the way 100%?
He's not all the way healthy. He's been out most of the year, but trust me, Chris Carson, when healthy, is a top 5 back in the league. He is pivotal. He is pivotal to their success. Huh?
They lost to the Giants. They scored.
Y'all lost to the football team.
The football team is about the same as the Giants.
Yes, but the Giants have won 4 straight games.
Exactly.
The football team got a man whose leg was almost amputated winning right now. I mean,
comeback player of the year.
And they tried to rip off the other leg this weekend.
I mean, that leg was bloody, like on this man's cleats, and he was still playing. I'm like, I don't know if you dumb or if you just, I don't know.
I mean, he almost lost his leg and came back.
Wait, so Hunter, who's their Super Bowl pick then?
I have to apologize to Sportscasters Nation everywhere for saying the Cowboys, and I jinxed myself because the next week because the next week Dak Prescott's ankle was the shape of their season.
We'll give you a pass. We'll give you a pass for that.
So I apologize to Sportscasters Nation.
He did say that,
and I told Chris I was going to say that to make it right for everybody. But watching games, man. It's so hard because I like the Seahawks. I like Russell Wilson. He's a god, but
best QB in the league.
Aaron Rodgers, man, he puts up numbers that with receivers that just amaze me. Their defense isn't all that great, but what he does when the ball's in his hand is it's amazing. But also you have the Saints who will eventually get Drew Brees back, which is going to basically do the same thing. It's going to turn Michael Thomas on. Kamara will be going crazy. So all of those two teams are – it's really hard to pick between those 3 teams. But just like Chris said, one of those 3 teams is in the Super Bowl. It's just a matter of who matches up who and how the game goes from there.
Something just tells me with the Packers that Aaron Rodgers is going to get deep in the playoffs and something's going to happen. They're going to lose the game. Maybe it's a deep –
Don't say that.
They're front runners. They are front runners.
It just happens with them. It's like they're heading there, and they get knocked off every year.
They do that every single year.
They do, but golly, man. I'm trying to give them a shot.
That's my team, though, but they really do that every year.
Exactly.
It can be tight.
History repeats itself. It'll happen again. I feel like Seattle can turn it back on, though. I feel like they can turn it back on. And I don't know about the Saints. I don't know. Not a believer.
They're the most complete team in the league, but I just have
They're
no
winning with Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
They also beat the Denver Broncos team who had their fifth-string quarterback. I mean, I can't put too much. Congrats, Taysom Hill. You caught the lottery. The whole Broncos QB staff got hit with COVID restriction, but they couldn't play.
I want to know what Winston's response was whenever he thought, when Drew Brees went out, like he was going to be the starter, and next thing they say Taysom Hill's coming in. Like, this guy, he's probably like a quarterback meeting. He's beating me? Okay. But I don't know. So he's probably end up, what y'all think, maybe another year being a backup quarterback someplace or what?
I think that whole thing with Winston was just, no, y'all need to go and grab yourself Sam Darnold. If the Jets decide to draft Trevor Lawrence, go get y'all Sam Darnold and sit behind Ben for a little minute. Sam Darnold can play. But I think the thing with Winston in that situation was just like there's a clause in his contract, depending on how much they can pay him based on how much he plays. So I think it was like, we can speak about these 3 games. We actually have to pay him this money that we put in this contract to actually play him. So let's just do that. But I do think Jameis Winston is going to eventually be their quarterback because Taysom's 32, something like that. The man's like 30 years old. He's not going to be a starting quarterback for long. He can get away with it right now because it's the combination of them being really good on defense, like really, really good on defense, and them playing sorry teams. So I think that's the situation right there with them. But
hey, regardless, Jameis Winston going to put in work in pregame warm-ups.
Dance after.
It is the weirdest thing. Davis is a different kind of dude.
Davis is hilarious.
Yeah. So, Matt, you didn't get your picks, though. So, who you got?
I definitely got Patrick Mahomes. They only got 1 loss this season, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll just go ahead and go with the Seahawks. I feel like he'll be able to turn it back on. Russell Wilson, hopefully in the playoffs, will be able to kind of get whatever little nicks he's working through right now, they'll be able to get it back going. Because whenever he's on for real.
Now that you just said that, back to Sterling. So, let's say – Seahawks and Chiefs is in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yes.
Who do you have winning this game?
Patrick.
The Seahawks. And Russell Wilson, the best QB in the league. Like, why y'all keep asking me this question? I'm going to keep giving y'all the same answer. Like, what do you see? Why do you believe that the Seahawks will not beat the Chiefs in this year's Super Bowl? What is your reason, Chris?
My reason?
Yes.
Well,
yes.
I feel like based off of the overall team of the Seahawks and how they played and just given the matchups that they've gone up against, they kept it close with teams that they shouldn't have kept it close with. And there was a whole big stunt that they went through. I think it was like, 3 to 4 games? And it was like, okay, this ain't Russell Wilson. And that plays into it. So when I look at the Chiefs, what was a bad game other than the game that they lost? And that game that they lost was – exactly. But that wasn't even – like, okay, whatever.
They gave up 32 to the Carolina Panthers. I mean, I'm a Panthers fan, but good Lord, we was going to drop 32 on them?
Hey. We're not going to do that today. No Panthers today.
Was we supposed to drop 30 on that Chiefs defense?
We wasn't, but still. I mean, but nonetheless, all I'm saying is when I look at the consistency of how the Chiefs have played, once they steamroll past the Steelers, no disrespect, and they get to the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, I got to give it to them.
Sterling, let me just say this real quick. And I also, because of the Seahawks defense, how much they struggle. Now, Jamal Adams is able to get pressure on the quarterback, a.k.a. the disruptor. But besides that, they just struggle to get stops, and Patrick Mahomes don't run it up on them. So that would be my reason why I don't think that the Seahawks will be able to stop them.
Here's the thing about me and the Seahawks. So it's just like, they're one of those teams you have to have a lot of faith in. But when I look at who's the best quarterback in the league, Russell Wilson, there's not another quarterback that can be on the Seahawks and do what he's done with that team for the last 3-4 years. There's not another person that can run that team. And their defense, right? So Jamal Adams is finally healthy. They was finding their groove. Even when they lost to the Giants, it wasn't a defensive issue they lost to the Giants. It was an offensive issue, which is, disappointing. But at the same time, the Giants are rolling on defense themselves. They're coming up in the world. So I think about that defense getting a lot better. Jamal Adams is becoming their, third defensive end or something, rushing the passer the way he's rushing the passer. And then them in the back end still have to get healthy at cornerback, which they're getting close to. And the thing with the Seahawks defense is they just play to the level of their competition. For whatever reason, Seattle just plays to the level of their competition. If they're in the Super Bowl, they're going to play their tails off. We're going to be like, where has this Seahawks team been all year? But at the end of the day, I feel like Russell Wilson with the ball to win the game or to keep it or to give him life and keep him there, he's going to do all those things. And along with Chris Carson, whenever he's healthy, that running game that Seattle can put on people, which would turn a lot of clock in terms of taking Mahomes off the field, and you can finally let those great players like Adams, Wagner, and even Quandre Diggs is a really good free safety. They're going to make plays off of Mahomes. I feel like you give them a shot to be what they are, which are great players. So now you're looking at the teams, and like I feel like Seattle, had they just let if they were to run their team the way, not the way that Kansas City runs it, but give Russell more freedom. I think Russell suffers from like team player syndrome. Like he's too much of a team player. Sometimes I want Russell to go out there and be like, "Screw this, I'm a Carson Wentz this," and actually make it work.
Right.
But I just feel like Russell Wilson, he's gonna find a way to win the game. He always does. Every time I watch Russell Wilson play football, I'm like, Jesus, he's so good at football because he makes everybody better. Like DK, be honest. If DK Metcalf got drafted to any other team in the league, do y'all think DK Metcalf would be where he is as a receiver?
Yes.
Other than Chiefs, maybe.
Yes.
You think he'll be the same receiver had he not gone?
I watched
to
this
Seattle?
man play.
I got DK point too.
Insane.
I got Chase Claypool. He's doing the same thing.
Agreed.
I'm really going to bring it back. Possibly, but Tyler Lockett, David Moore, they get Josh Gordon.
Good.
They're getting Josh Gordon back too, by the way.
Yeah, I seen that. When does he come back?
I don't know, but he'll be there at some point in time.
I think it's last
He'll be there at some point in time.
Well, I have a question.
What's up?
There's so many people picking Chiefs, I know that Sterling and Jalen aren't, but that's personal reasons. But here's my question to everybody. If Chiefs go back-to-back, Patrick Mahomes in his third year in the NFL wins 2 Super Bowls, could he retire and automatically get a golden jacket? Because in my opinion, yes.
If Eli Manning can get one, yes, he will get one after 3 years.
I mean, yeah, but
2 Super Bowls in 3 years and all the records that he's broken, like,
I think he's the most talented player to ever play. That's what I think.
I think the NFL.
Did you say Jalen? Sorry, I missed that.
I think he's the most talented player already, literally.
Yeah, understandable.
I think the NFL will erupt if he did that, though. Like,
sheesh, not LT.
Sorry, but that man changed the game, literally.
Good question,
bro. You obviously have something against Patrick Mahomes because you just.
I don't. Why do y'all think that? What?
No way. You just took
Patrick Mahomes did something to him. We'll find out in the next episode.
I think it's too hard not to give Patrick Mahomes a golden jacket already. In my opinion, I think it's too hard to argue not to. Look at the numbers he's put up, the records he's broken. Yes, he has Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and he already had a good offensive line. His defense was already okay. He took over a team that Alex Smith was winning with. But
Thank you, Hunter.
In my opinion, top, if not number 1 quarterback in the league, number 2, and then probably number 2 or 3 to ever play the game behind the Sheriff and Tom Brady.
See, but you just helped prove my point. See, Hunter, I don't hate Patrick Mahomes. I just recognize all the stuff he was gifted. Like, the man came into the league, right, with a team and Alex Smith, who was in the divisional playoff game, pretty much every year before he got there, got to sit behind Alex Smith, right? Then he gets granted Eric Bieniemy and Andy Reid as his, offensive coordinator and head coach, which is pretty easy to do. Okay, and then you have Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, Marcus Robinson already on your team to throw the ball to, and possibly the best O-line, the best pass blocking O-line in the league. Because have y'all seen Patrick Mahomes get sacked that much? Really? No, I don't think so. Then we look on defense. People just forget about how great Kansas City's defense is. They got a dude up front in Chris Jones, Tyrann Mathieu in the back, the best backup safety probably in the league in Dan Sorensen, and then they just fill in that linebacker. Like, and they don't give up a lot of points. I'm just saying.
You talked about it not getting sacked. You can't bring but so many people to the line of scrimmage against the Chiefs because of Tyreek Hill, Justin Robinson, and
all the weapons he got around him.
That's my argument with the Steelers as well. But so for me, like, because if you do bring those guys, that leaves Travis Kelce or one of those guys on a drag or somebody out of the backfield. So it keeps the short game and the deep game all. You have to play over the top with those guys.
Yeah, And I personally just feel like, and I think Matt will appreciate this, I just personally feel like if you swapped out Patrick Mahomes last year, Deshaun Watson does the same thing that Patrick Mahomes did in terms of winning the Super Bowl, and Patrick Mahomes still gets sent home in the second round in the championship game. If you just swap those two players, the exact same thing for both franchises happened. That's just
so Christian, based off of what you heard, man, who you got as your Super Bowl picks?
Either it'd have to be the Chiefs, probably Packers. All right,
Thank you. Think Aaron Rodgers gets the job done this year?
Should,
but
he surprised people though. But
he's having a great year for sure.
Is that Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. I mean, personally, I would love to see two MVP candidates go head to head. I mean, yes, Russell is also a MVP candidate, but I think he's, according to the media, quote, he's third on the list. You got Pat, Aaron, and then Russell. So either way, if it's Seahawks and Chiefs, it's still MVP candidate versus MVP candidate.
I think Big Ben should be an MVP candidate.
For what? For what reason?
Maybe stutter.
Our team was 8-8 last year. We still should have won a Super Bowl last year without Ben.
I have
Ben
PJ
comes
Watt
back.
as my MVP candidate.
We're 11-0. That's MVP. What's MVP? Most valuable player. We lost 8 games last year without Ben.
He's a comeback player, but Alex Smith's winning that ball. Sorry.
Yes, Alex Smith can have that award. We'll take the Super Bowl and the MVP.
I agree with that.
I get there. Y'all might get defensive. Now, if y'all should get an award, I would say it might be defensive player of the year, but that still might go to that man in Los Angeles, Aaron Donald, that guy.
The numbers my guy put up this year.
Yeah,
TJ's ridiculous.
TJ's been ridiculous this year.
TJ is insane. I've never seen a man just literally forget that these people have families the way that he does.
Hey, Aaron Donald be throwing him out the club, though.
Y'all might get coach of the year, though. Real talk, though. Y'all might get coach of the year. I would be highly upset if y'all don't get coach of the year. Like, come on now.
After what Mike Tomlin said,
you got to finish for sure. I want our boys to check in this Sunday night.
Yeah.
Y'all know
I think that's the coach of the year. I actually think that's the coach of the year class right there. Sean McDermott from Buffalo and Mike Tomlin. They both done great. Sean McDermott has hidden Josh Allen's woes so greatly this year.
Hey, I like Josh Allen. Josh Allen.
Hey, Matt, you're not going to like him this weekend. He's going to be on the ground a lot.
Hey, y'all playing on Sunday night?
Sunday night. Check in.
I'll be tuned in.
I'll definitely tune into that one.
All right, y'all, we got to wrap this up. So first, I want to thank our special guests, Jalen, Hunter, and Christian for joining us. And the crew, First SportsCasters is brought to you by Matt's SportsHouse, Rells Revenge, and official Slim Dev Music. I want to thank you guys for joining us this episode, and we hope to see y'all next time. Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Rells Revenge, official Slim Dev Music, and Matt's SportsHouse. Stay tuned next week for Season 3, Episode 3 of SportsCasters. See you then.